Hi everyone, this is Firan and welcome to Study Windows. And today we are going to learn transparent, translucent and opaque objects. Let us consider some different objects. So what are the differences between all these three? To understand the differences between all these objects, we have to know first how light travels and how light interacts with objects. Let us take an example. We'll have one candle and we'll take one hollow pipe and we'll try to see the light through the pipe. So what is happening here? We will be able to see the light because light rays is coming from candle to our eyes. So it is coming in that way and we are able to see. So light is traveling a straight path. But what if we bend the pipe? Are you able to see? No, we will not be able to see because light comes from the candle and it will be obstructed here. So it will not be reaching in our eyes. So we can say light rays coming from the candle and it is coming to our eyes and it is just straight line. So we can say easily light travels along a straight line. How light interacts with objects. Let us consider some objects like mirror or football or glass. And light comes from the source, interact differently with different matters. Light is coming from the source and falling on the mirror and it is reflected. So this is reflection. And for the football, it is falling on the football and football is absorbing all the rays. So no light rays is coming from the football. So entire light rays is absorbed by the football. So it is absorption. And for the glass, light is passing through the glass. There is no reflection. It is simply passing through. So it is transmission. In simple diagram, we will try to understand this reflection, absorption and transmission. For the reflection, you see the light is coming from the source and falling on this object and bounces off or reflected. So it is called reflection. And this object, it absorbs all the light coming from the source. So it is absorption. And for the third case, light is passing through this object. This object is helping light to pass through completely. So this is known as transmission. So reflection, once again, this light is coming from a torch, that is the source, and reflected. So we see our image in the mirror because of reflection. See, light rays is falling on the mirror and it is coming to our eyes. But we see that light is coming from the mirror. So image is formed. And for absorption, this light is absorbed by this object. So it is absorption. And transmission, the light is passing through this object. It is transmission. Type of objects based on interaction with lights. Number one, this is a glass and light is passing through the glass. When the light passes through the object, transmission happens and it is known transparent object. And second one, this is the plastic. This is an object where all light will not pass through. Some light will be absorbed and some will be reflected. So absorption and reflection happens here. So this is known translucent object. And the third object, here light is falling but it will not pass through. It may be absorbed or it may be reflected. So this object is known as opaque object. So transparent object means light will pass through completely. Translucent object, light will pass through partially, and opaque object, light will not pass through. Detailed understanding. Transparent objects. See the example. Someone is watching outside and this is the glass. She is able to see everything outside. Why she is able to see? Because light is coming from outside to her eyes. So that's why she is able to see outside. So glass allow light to pass through. Characteristics: light can pass through, allows us to see clearly objects on the other side, and shadow formation. Since we know that shadow is formed only when light is obstructed, but here light is passed through, so there will not be any shadow formation here. Example: glass, lanes, clear plastics, diamond, clear cellophane, water, there's a clear water, and air. Translucent objects. So we have seen that this is an apple, and some portion of apple we are able to see clearly and some portion we are not able to see clearly. So this is the object. Light passed through partially, so we are not able to see the clear apple. So this object is known as translucent object. Characteristics: light can pass through partially, allow us to see objects on the other side partially, and a very faint shadow we can see because light is obstructed partially. So because of that only a faint shadow is formed. Example: frosted glass, thin fabrics, tracing paper, tinted glass, colored plastics, and clouds. Opaque objects. This is a can, and light is falling on this can, and some portion is absorbed and some portion is reflected. So no light will pass through this object. So this is known as opaque object. Characteristics: no light pass through. We have already learned. It may be reflected or absorbed. We cannot see anything through these objects. And shadow: since the light will be obstructed completely, dark shadow will be formed. Examples: mirror, apple, brick, cup, stone, can. Look at this example for better understanding. There is an object. In the first object, all light passes through, so we are able to see this giraffe. This object is known as transparent object. And second one, some light passed through, so we are able to see partially the giraffe. So this object is known as translucent object. And third one, no light will pass through. We will not be able to see anything. So this is known as opaque object. So differences: transparent object, translucent object, and opaque object. Transparent objects: these objects allow light to pass through. Translucent object: these objects allow light to pass through partially. And opaque objects: these objects not allow light to pass through. Here one can see clearly through these objects. Here one can see objects partially. And opaque objects, one cannot see through these objects. Do not cast shadow because they do not block light. And translucent objects do cast faint shadow because they block light slightly. Opaque objects cast dark shadow because they block light completely. Example for the transparent object: glass, lanes. Translucent object: tissue, tinted glass. And opaque objects: and woods, bricks. We will see one practical example. So look at this video. Here you are able to see this pillar is the opaque object, but this is the glass you can see outside, so it is transparent object. And this one is, see, this down portion, you are not able to see the chair clearly, so this is translucent object, right? If you like study windows, like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to click the bell icon. Check it out our next video. Thank you so much for watching our videos. Please subscribe our channel for latest updates.